Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today is March 14th, 2025, Friday, the day one of our 2-day severe weather and tornado outbreak. For today, we do have a pretty large marginal risk of severe weather in Minnesota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana, Michigan, and Wisconsin. We have a fairly large slight risk in Minnesota, Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin. An enhanced risk in Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, Illinois. And we have a large moderate risk in Iowa, Illinois, Missouri, Arkansas, Tennessee, Mississippi, Louisiana, Kentucky. Hail, there's a large 10% hatch risk of seeing hail 2-inch in diameter or greater in Louisiana, Mississippi, Arkansas, Kentucky, Illinois, and Missouri. And then a fairly large 30% hatch risk of seeing hail of 2-inch in diameter or greater in Missouri, Illinois, Kentucky, Tennessee, Arkansas, and northern Mississippi. Wind, we have a large 10% hatch risk of seeing wind gusts of 65 knots or stronger in Nebraska, Iowa, Wisconsin, Indiana, Kentucky, Missouri, Arkansas, Kansas. A large 30% hatch risk of seeing wind gusts of 65 knots or stronger in Nebraska, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi, Arkansas, Missouri. And we have a pretty decent sized 45% hatch risk of seeing significant wind gusts of 65 knots or stronger in Iowa, Missouri, Illinois, and Kentucky. Tornadoes. We have a large 10% hatch risk of seeing significant tornadoes, meaning EF2 to EF5 tornadoes in Iowa, Illinois, Missouri, Kentucky, Arkansas, Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana. And then again, we have a pretty large 15% hatch risk of seeing significant tornadoes, EF2 to EF5, in Missouri, Illinois, Kentucky, Arkansas, Tennessee, Mississippi, and Louisiana. So that is for today. If we go to tomorrow, tomorrow is the big guns. We have that high risk, level 5 out of 5 in Mississippi and Alabama, a moderate risk in Alabama, Georgia, Florida, Mississippi, Louisiana, an enhanced risk in Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, a slight risk in Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and then a marginal risk in Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Kentucky, West Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. We have a large 10% hatch risk of seeing hail of 2-inch diameter or greater in Louisiana, Mississippi, Arkansas, Tennessee, Alabama, Florida. And then we have a smaller but more significant 30% hatch risk of seeing significant hail of 2-inch diameter or greater in Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida. Wind's also going to be another threat. We have a large 30% hatch risk of seeing wind gusts of 65 knots or stronger in Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, North Carolina, Alabama, or Georgia, and Florida. But this high risk is driven by the tornado risk. We have a large 10% hatch risk of seeing significant tornadoes. Again, EF2 to EF5 in Tennessee, Mississippi, Louisiana, Florida, and Georgia and North Carolina. We have a 30% hatch or 15% hatch risk of seeing significant tornadoes in Louisiana, Mississippi, Florida, Alabama, and Georgia. And we have a 30% hatch risk of seeing significant tornadoes in Mississippi and Alabama. The SPC's wording is a possible high-end, violent, long-track tornado outbreak is possible, especially in the high-risk area. So you need to take tonight, as tonight there could be a tornado outbreak again, but tonight and tomorrow you need to take warnings seriously. Have multiple ways to get your warnings, as this is no joke. This is the real deal. This is a scary situation. I'm nowhere near the risk area, and this is scaring me. Just for the fact of how concerning the model show how consistent they have been through the whole thing. So we'll get ahead here. Look at the GFS model of it. You can see the storms have already fired up, and it is 4:15. Storms have already fired up in Nebraska, Missouri, Kansas, and they're just going to move east. Okay. And then the greatest tornado potential I feel is going to be in Missouri, Illinois, Kentucky, Tennessee, Arkansas, and Mississippi for today. And then you can kind of see the supercells forming Saturday at around 9 in the morning in Louisiana, and they move their way east into Mississippi and Alabama. Okay, we will go ahead here and drop down to our supercell composite here and show you what we're looking at. This has changed quite a few times throughout the day. So you can see at about, I don't know, 9 o'clock, we've got some supercells in Mississippi. We will be going live to cover this event tonight, and we will be going live tomorrow to cover the even more significant event. And then we have a higher concentrated area of supercells in southeastern Missouri, which a couple of these could be strong, maybe even violent, intense tornadoes. And then we'll go ahead here into Saturday, where we do have some significant supercell concentrated areas where some potentially large, violent, long track tornadoes are possible. So just know, and these storms are not going to be moving slow. These storms are going to be moving highway speeds, so 65, 75, 65, 70, maybe 75 miles an hour. So just know that if a warning gets issued, the storm could be 2 hours away from you. But with how fast it's moving, they're going to have that warning extend out far. So you have that ample amount of time to get to shelter safely. We'll go to the HRRR here to look at the supercell composite models here. So this one has it more in Arkansas, a higher concentration of them in Arkansas, but don't think, oh, Arkansas is not going to hit this place. Like, no, they're going to hit probably 4 or 5 different states. And then as we go ahead to Saturday, the HRRR, you can see, is a lot more significant in the picture that it's drawing with some high-end tornadoes. I'm thinking we could have an outbreak of EF4 plus tornadoes. I mean, EF3 plus for sure. That's just the environment that these storms will be going into. And that's not overhyping it or anything, and there's no way to put this lightly. This storm is going to be big. This is going to be a very, very, very significant, potentially historic storm. I mean, there's no way to put it lightly. That's just the gravity of the situation that we have. The NAM is showing the supercells to be more concentrated in southern Arkansas, southeastern Arkansas, kind of around that Arkansas-Mississippi state line, which I do believe there will be some supercells that are capable of producing tornadoes down there. And that is where I believe the biggest threat for supercells for tonight will be. And then we go ahead to Saturday. It's painting a pretty scary picture of the location of the supercells. And it is showing that, again, high-end tornadoes are possible with this storm. So you need to take warning seriously. You have to. You can't just shrug off warning back, oh, well, we're used to this or blah, 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 because this is not something that is normal for the month of March. April, yes. March, no. So we're dealing with a pretty rare day 2 high risk of severe weather. So the only way I see this not playing out the way it's forecasted is if the early morning convection does hamper anything a little bit. But the way the models have shown is, you can see the early morning convection right now at midnight, 3, 6, 9 a.m. doesn't appear to be affecting anything. And that's just the gravity of the situation at hand. Sadly, it does not appear to be affecting anything whatsoever. So just take caution, take heed with the warnings when they're issued, as This is not something to take lightly, as we have significant tornado parameters of 6.6. I don't think you guys can understand how high that is. I mean, look, the NAM only goes up to 9 or maybe 10. So we're over half of the parameter there. So anywhere, pretty much anywhere. I mean, the parameters are just, and then even in like the late night hours in Arkansas, the area where I think has a better chance of seeing the more stronger to significant tornadoes overnight in Arkansas, have some pretty high significant tornado parameters as well, at around that midnight to 3 a.m. time frame in Arkansas, southeastern Arkansas, eastern Arkansas, around that Arkansas Mississippi state line. I do want to go back to the HRR here because we did not look what the HRR shows for significant tornado parameters. As you can see, this one has it earlier, about an hour earlier than what the NAM shows. Now the HRR goes hour by hour. So if we go to right now, it is 4:20. So we'll go to 16. Okay, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, midnight, 1 a.m. Saturday, 2 a.m. Saturday, 3 a.m. Saturday, and oh my goodness, 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 7, you get the gist. It's going to be a big day. It's going to be a big next 24 to 36 hours. That's just the way it is. That's just how this is going to work. I'm not saying that to scare anybody. That I'm just being honest. That's how this is playing out. As is going to be a very big day. The RAP model shows, it doesn't show as high of tornado parameters in Mississippi, but it also doesn't go hour by hour, and it's a lot less, doesn't go very far out when doing the models. So this one starts at 6 o'clock. So this one is starting about, this is thinking 2 hours ahead. Okay. 6, well, no, it's starting at 7. So this is thinking 3 hours ahead. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, so midnight. And look at those parameters. Holy cow. Look at those parameters. This one is showing almost the whole state of Mississippi having some significant tornado potential, and western Alabama, Tuscaloosa, potentially. Louisiana, I think if Louisiana is going to see any significantly strong tornadoes, it's going to be on that, like the boot, like I don't know, what is that, southwestern part of Louisiana. That'll be the spot where we see the most significant tornadoes happen. But this can change. So this is looking at a 10 o'clock night, 11, midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this one, again, not showing that too high of tornado parameters, but definitely there. This one's starting at 1 in the afternoon. Moving on. So this one doesn't show the parameters in Arkansas being too terribly high, nor does it show the parameters being too terribly high in Mississippi or Alabama. But I do fear that this model is one of very few that does not agree with everything else. So, that is the only positive we have, is one model is not agreeing. We'll go to the experimental one. So again, take a grain of salt. It's experimental, not what you're going to see. But this one shows about 2 a.m. supercells really being tornadic. And it has the parameters more along the Mississippi-Alabama state line, and moving into Alabama being more tornadic. Again, it's not agreeing with every single model, but most models are agreeing with the fact that Mississippi, Alabama, and Arkansas are going to see the most significant tornado or tornadic supercells over tonight. So this is 1 a.m. with another experimental model, and you can see it's really exploded. We'll go to Saturday. Again, shows about that eastern Mississippi, western Alabama state line having the highest potential for some significant tornadic supercells. Again, which is what everything has been showing. So, with that being said, I'm going to wrap it up for the video today. This is just a quick little update as we do have a rare day 2 high risk for Saturday. We have a very large marginal risk area for today. I will be going live at around 5:15, 5:30. It's all dependent on when the storms, how they fire up, how quick they strengthen. But make sure and be on the lookout for that. Subscribe if you're new. Tell your friends. Tell any family or friends you have that live in these areas to subscribe, because I will be going live tonight and tomorrow to cover both events. So if you have any friends or family that live in these areas, please, please, please tell them to check out the channel, subscribe. Make sure they have multiple ways of getting alerts. It may just save their lives. I don't say that to scare anybody, but that's just the gravity of the situation we have at hand. But yeah, like I said, that's going to do it for today's video. Comment down below where you're from, if you're in any of these risk areas. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.